It's the kind of story that feels almost too incredible to be true, a tale of love, resilience, and transformation that starts in a world of unimaginable wealth and ends in a place where simplicity reigns supreme. Edward Harrison, a self-made millionaire, was the epitome of success. He had worked tirelessly to build an empire, commanding respect and admiration from everyone in his orbit. For Edward, life was a series of calculated moves, and he had mastered the art of turning ambition into fortune. But for all his accomplishments, one part of his life felt like a failure: his son, Michael. Michael was Edward's only child, the heir to the Harrison empire. Yet Michael seemed uninterested in the world his father had built. While Edward thrived on corporate meetings, investments, and high-profile connections, Michael was drawn to art, creativity, and freedom. He spent his days painting, exploring, and chasing a life filled with meaning rather than wealth. To Edward, this was unacceptable, a waste of potential and a betrayal of the legacy he had worked so hard to establish. As Michael approached his 30th birthday, Edward decided it was time to act. He believed his son's aimlessness could be cured with one thing: marriage. Not just any marriage, of course. Edward had already chosen the perfect bride for Michael. Her name was Laura Whitmore, the daughter of a powerful business ally. Laura was beautiful, polished, and came from a family of immense wealth and influence. In Edward's mind, she was exactly what Michael needed to grow up and take his rightful place in the Harrison dynasty. But Edward's plans came crashing down when Michael revealed he had already fallen in love with Claire, a simple farmer from a rural village. Claire was everything Laura was not. She was down to earth, humble, and lived a modest life working on her family's farm. She had no interest in luxury or social status, and that's precisely what drew Michael to her. For Michael, Claire represented authenticity, kindness, and a life far removed from the superficiality of his father's world. Edward was livid. To him, Claire was an insult to the Harrison name. He argued, pleaded, and even threatened, but Michael remained steadfast. "I love her," Michael said firmly, "and I'm marrying her whether you approve or not." In a final act of desperation, Edward issued an ultimatum: if Michael insisted on marrying Claire, he would be cut off from the Harrison fortune. No trust fund, no financial support, no safety net. Michael would have to live entirely on Claire's farm, earning his way through hard work and sacrifice. Edward thought the ultimatum would scare Michael into submission. Instead, Michael surprised him by accepting the challenge. The wedding took place on Claire's farm, a simple ceremony attended by her close-knit community and a few of Michael's friends. Edward refused to attend, convinced that Michael would regret his decision and come crawling back within weeks. Life on the farm was a rude awakening for Michael. Gone were the comforts of his father's mansion, the convenience of personal chefs, and the luxury of a chauffeur-driven car. Instead, Michael found himself waking up at dawn to feed chickens, planting crops under the scorching sun, and repairing fences with tools he barely knew how to use. The physical labor was exhausting, and the lifestyle was entirely foreign to him. But through the struggles, Michael found something he hadn't expected: a sense of purpose. Claire was patient and supportive, teaching him the skills he needed to survive and thrive on the farm. She never complained about his mistakes, instead laughing with him and showing him how to do better. Over time, Michael began to adapt. His hands grew calloused from the work, but his spirit grew stronger. He found a quiet pride in their small successes: the crops they harvested, the animals they cared for, and the meals they shared after a long day's work. As Michael adjusted to farm life, he also rediscovered his passion for painting. Surrounded by the natural beauty of the countryside, he began creating works that were more vibrant and heartfelt than anything he had done before. Claire encouraged him to showcase his art, and soon his paintings caught the attention of local galleries. Before long, Michael was selling his work and gaining recognition for his talent. For the first time in his life, He was earning money not because of his family's wealth, but because of his own hard work and creativity. Meanwhile, Edward waited for the inevitable call. He was certain Michael would give up and return home, ready to apologize and accept the life Edward had planned for him. But that call never came. Instead, Edward began hearing stories from acquaintances about how well Michael and Claire were doing. Rumors spread about their thriving farm, Michael's successful art career, and the deep happiness they seemed to share. Curiosity eventually got the better of Edward. One day, he decided to visit the farm unannounced. He expected to find his son struggling and defeated, but what he saw left him speechless. The farm was a picture of vitality, lush crops, healthy animals, and a sense of energy and purpose in every corner. Michael greeted him with a confident smile, his sun-kissed skin and steady demeanor a testament to the transformation he had undergone. Claire welcomed Edward warmly, offering him a seat at their modest kitchen table and serving him a meal made entirely from the farm's produce. As they ate, Edward listened to their stories. They spoke of the challenges they had faced, the lessons they had learned, and the joy they had found in their simple life. For the first time, Edward saw his son not as a failure, but as a man who had carved out his own path and flourished in it. He also saw Claire, in a new light, not as a barrier to Michael's success, but as a partner who had helped him grow into the best version of himself. The visit left Edward deeply reflective. He realized that his definition of success, rooted in wealth and power, had blinded him to the true value of love, happiness, and personal fulfillment. Over time, Edward began visiting the farm more frequently. He came not to criticize or control, but to reconnect with his son and daughter-in-law. He even found himself admiring the life they had built, a life of hard work, resilience, and genuine happiness. Eventually, Edward extended an olive branch. He offered to invest in the farm, not as a way to dictate their lives, but as a gesture of support and belief in their vision. With his help, Michael and Claire expanded their operations, transforming the farm into a hub of sustainable agriculture and community outreach. They hosted workshops, taught children about farming, and created a space where people could connect with nature and each other. Edward's relationship with Michael and Claire grew stronger with each passing year. What had started as a clash of values became a lesson for Edward, a lesson in humility, acceptance, and the understanding that true success is not measured by wealth or power, but by the richness of love and the fulfillment of living authentically. And so, the story of Edward, Michael, and Claire became a testament to the unexpected twists life can take and the incredible transformations that can occur when we open our hearts to new perspectives. In the end, Edward learned that sometimes the greatest treasures are found not in boardrooms or bank accounts, but in the simple beauty of a life well lived. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming tales. Remember, the path to happiness often lies in the places we least expect. Until next time, take care and cherish the moments that truly matter.